bridge of sights, to rest my eyes in shades of green, under dreaming spires, to Ichiku Park, that's where I've been. What did you do there? I got high. What did you feel there? Well, I cried. But why the tears there? Tell you why. It's all too beautiful. It's all too beautiful. It's all too beautiful. It's all too beautiful. I feel inclined to blow my mind. Guitar, feed the ducks with a bun. They all come out to groove about, be nice and have fun and listen. Tell you what I'll do. What will you I'd like to go there now.
Quote, national security grounds. National security.
Finally, we're going to see the full video.
A 15-minute period on January 6th from 2:25 p.m. to 2:40 p.m. Eastern Time. Now, that's right in the middle of the so-called insurrection. For context, 2:26 p.m. is around when Mike Pence, then the vice president, was evacuated from the Capitol. These are images from a surveillance camera at the Senate wing of the complex, and they show people calmly walking around taking pictures. Not much of a riot. Now, that's relevant because the DOJ is charging some of the people who entered the Capitol around this time, probably including some of the people in those frames, with endangering the safety of Mike Pence. They're saying the Capitol itself was a restricted area because Mike Pence was present. But it does not appear from that footage that it's true. Where exactly was
14,000 hours now to come out.
People
finally,
are doing jail time
the DOJ
has
kept it under wraps.
But the rest of us
we got a new Congress who's going to release it because it belongs to us.
We should see it.
You know, I haven't had a house burned down with my wife in it. She got out safely, God willing. It was, I remember spending time at, going to the Tree of Life Synagogue, speaking with them. I have known every prime minister well since Golda Meir. She invited me to come over because I was going to be the liaison between she and the Egyptians about the Suez and so on and so forth.
Huh?
I did not walk in the shoes of generations of students who walk these grounds, but I walked other grounds. It seems like yesterday, the first time I got arrested anyway. He said, you know, Joe, if you accepted my commission to become my appointment in the academy, he said you'd still have 1 year and 3 months active duty and I'd have no problems right now.
What?
This day, 30 years ago, Nelson Mandela walked out of prison. I had the great honor of being arrested with our UN ambassador on the streets of Soweto trying to get to see him on Robbins Island.
What?
Pin medals on, silver stars on soldiers up in the upper Konar Valley in the middle of a firestorm.
What?
Yeah, I used to drive a tractor trailer.
You did?
And so I know a little bit about driving big trucks.
What is that crime if you don't know that you're committing a crime? And I don't even know what... I know there's a box in my garage, but I keep my garage locked. And I wouldn't even know how to... There's a button. You push a button, but the button's in the car, and the car's in the garage. So how's anyone going to get in there? Come on, man. Now, it's Martin Luther King Day, so could you please let me get back to calling everyone who doesn't agree with me a racist? Thank you.
These tough guys with their guns. We didn't have those growing up on the main streets of Wilmington, Delaware, with guys like Corn Pop. We had to use our bare hands. That's right. In fact, I ran into some bad dudes the other day. I remember how that went. I remember. Yeah.
You looking at, old man?
Stay out of my garage.
You better get your your old wrinkly white ass.
I'm gonna point at you. And you. I'll point at all of you. You have a nice day.
You too.
Yeah.
Nicely done.
Whoa. Put on the brakes. Welcome, boys and girls, children of all ages, hoofties, pufties, bug-eyed heifers, right and left wing wackos, woodchucks, and chuckettes, kings and queens of the Northeast Kingdom. It's what they call it up here. Of Vermont, the Northeast Kingdom, to another version of It's News to Us. Yeah, that's right. We've been here since September of 2009. You know, it's funny, Terry. We've got Philo in the booth this week. He's back. They busted that guy for killing his wife down in Massachusetts, and they said that they found that he was searching online how to dispose of his body, right?
What a clever boy.
Yeah, it was brilliant. Couldn't have used the library computer for that. Anyways.
Yeah.
When I did my first show that I did, my co-host was killed that afternoon by his wife in an intentional car accident. She drove him into a tree and killed him. He never wore a seatbelt. And meanwhile, the cops, the Highway Patrol or State whatever, the VSP, they had found literature in the back of the car, Philo, on untraceable poisons. And I told them, look, she intentionally killed them. And they're all like, it's just coincidental. We can't prove it. But anyways, who are we? Where are we? What are we doing here? Thanks, Philo. In the booth, we have Philo T. Farnsworth. He's waving. We slide him a pizza under the door every now and then. He's, you can see his drum videos on YouTube at Terry DeFazio. He's got a new one coming out.
Do you know that I went to the largest institution of learning in Italy?
Yeah?
What's the matter, you?
Yeah. Well, I'm a Rhodes Scholar. I hit the road when I was 17 and never looked back. Anyways, you're watching It's News to Us. We're Newport's oldest TV news watchers. No! And defund the police? No. We're going to defend the cops. I got a good article about the Burlington Diversity Board over there, the police board. They're going to vote on that soon. You're going to love this one, Terry.
They have 22 beat cops for the whole city.
Yeah, it's crazy. In this episode, it's brought to you by Romeo, oh Christ, St. Peter's Boner Pills. That's right. You're going to get a Woody that's harder than Chinese algebra. And remember, they're at Davos now talking about misinformation. And all of these people are Democratic lawmakers. No Republicans, Philo. All Democrats at Davos saying, we've got to get rid of misinformation. Well, remember, when you talk misinformation at one time, more doctors smoked Camels than any other brand, Philo.
I know, and when breastfeeding was not good.
No
breastfeeding.
We could go on and on and on. Just look up Pfizer criminal history sometime. And speaking of which, all of these snowflakes are running around. We're going to end me. Well, you know what? These are the critters I've seen just blink out. They're on the brink of extinction right now. Okay? The eastern wood tortoise, the musk tortoise, the spotted tortoise, the black racer snake, spotted salamanders, red F's, those little lizards, bob whites, which are quail, whippoorwills, what else we got there? Large bullfrogs, milk snakes, they're gone. They look like a rattler. People killed them because they thought they were rattlesnakes. Water moccasins and mud puppies up here, too. Yeah, okay. And just in case, we're now on Rumble because you never know when these guys are going to give me another strike. Oh, man, don't get me going about them. And speaking of climate, what caused the last ice age? You kids want something to worry about, climate change. Don't listen to your teachers. They're full of crap, okay? You want something to worry about? Look up the Yellowstone caldera, all right? That could turn into a giant volcano. We got wicked echo out here, Terry.
Wow, I don't hear it in here.
Oh, I do. I hope it's not coming through on the show, right?
Very little.
That's cool.
I'm hoping.
Yeah. There's no way to get rid of it once it's on there. I'll try and speak quieter, like Joe Biden. But anyways, look up the Yellowstone caldera, the San Andreas Fault, the Alaskan Fault. This stuff could, oh man, California could go down the blink of an eye, And here's your insurrection videos. You can see them, all right? We got, Philo put in a good clip this week from Tucker Carlson. Because the 14,000 hours are coming out, and it's going to prove their whole little January 6th insurrection thing was one small slice. Most of it was just a bunch of senior citizens walking around, because you'll see in the videos on revolver.com, revolver.news, you'll see that the people showed up, these, what do you call them? The paid people, the agitators. They showed up and they pushed the damn barricades out of the way, all the signs out of the way. They directed scaffold guy, commander, that's what they call him. They've never arrested him yet. Scaffold commander has people coming in, and he's up there with a bullhorn. Come on in, this way, this way, this way. Herded them right into the Capitol. And these are good too. And you can see all the contents of Hunter Biden's laptop at Marco Polo USA. Yeah, that's about it. Anyways, Philo gave me this. He wanted me to do this one, because see, it's funny. If I had shown this last year or mentioned any of this stuff last year, Philo, I would have been busted for misinformation, right?
Well, if it's in the newspaper.
Yeah, now it is. Because thanks to people like Judicial Watch, they went out and sued for records. Because otherwise, we never would. The CDC and Fauci never would have given the stuff up. But anyways, here it is, right here. Thanks, Philo. It's from Defender, children'shealthdefense.org, or is it .com? Anyways, it's Bobby Kennedy Jr.'s outfit, and the 7 lies that Fauci hid from the public. Okay, Jim Jordan this week listed 7 key facts about the pandemic. Just shorten that word up and it turns into pan-NEK, all right? Because now we're finding out the CDC came out last week and said, well, we got a little problem here. We just kind of noticed that, these vaccines are causing strokes in some people. And then the CDC came out again and said, our method for testing people who died of COVID versus from COVID or with COVID, there might be a little overcount with the numbers, So all this stuff that we've been telling you since the spring of 2020.
Almost 3 years now.
Yeah, it'll be 3 years in 2 months. It'll be 3 years. That they panicked you, they steamrolled you, they herded you up like friggin' buffalo and hit the starter's pistol. All right, here we go. Jim Jordan, the government on the lies about the pandemic and the government response to it, because according to Jim Jordan, Fauci knew but didn't tell the public. Okay. Following is a paraphrase of the opening round, The Warning Shot by Jim Jordan. He used this time to outlaw the 7 facts that Fauci knew, what he did, didn't do, and when he was made aware of these facts. These are all with footnotes. And Ed Dowd has a great book. There's a good documentary on Rumble. Go to Rumble and dial, just punch in died suddenly, okay? And Ed Dowd's on there too. His book is, he's got a great book called Cause Unknown about the vaccines. I'm not saying anything about the vaccines because I don't want to get canceled off GoogleTube. But anyways, this doesn't bode well for Fauci and those involved in the cover-up. This is from children'shealthdefense.org. It's not me. I'm just reading it, GoogleTube. Fauci, number one. Fauci understood that American tax dollars went to EcoHealth Alliance, that would be Peter Daszak's little outfit, who worked in conjunction with Ralph Barrick at the University of North Carolina, UNC or whatever. Oh yeah, we were asking the Vermont governor about that before I got canceled too. Went to EcoHealth Alliance, and that money was then funneled to the Wuhu Flu Vu in China, the lab. Number 2, Fauci knew the EcoHealth Alliance was given an exemption from the pause in gain-of-function research. And Fauci keeps saying, it's not gain-of-function research, Senator Paul. You're wrong, Senator Paul. You're wrong. You're wrong. Yeah, well, Rand Paul was right, and so were these other people, and a lot of us have been from the beginning. Only Fauci says it's not gain-of-function. We call it dual use. So if you said it was for dual use, then I'll agree to that.
You mean used by the vaccine companies and by the government both?
And the military.
And to screw you?
Yeah. It's dual use. That's what we called it, Senator. You know, you wonder why he talks like that. Because he's Satan incarnate. They went in and tried to fix his vocal cords.
I wouldn't give him that much credit.
Speaking of which, you want to hear someone who sounds like Satan? I heard Henry Kissinger on a frickin' clip this morning. Oh, man, he sounded like he's coming from the underworld.
He's got to be 110 by now.
Yeah, he said, I'm telling you, the people in Davos are right. They have too much misinformation, says Henry Kissinger.
Want me to find out how old that guy is?
Oh, I don't know. He's got to be 90-something. Okay. 3, Fauci knew the security standards at the lab were deficient. Oh, really? You know, like Chinese labs wouldn't be up to our standards? Huh. And Obama can't... How old is he?
99.
No way.
Yeah.
I'm 99.
You know what a masseur in France once said when he was working for Nixon, you know, he was doing that shuttle diplomacy?
Yeah.
This masseur said, I have never felt anybody, when I was massaging him, that had zero muscle tone.
Yeah. Well, it's Henry Kissinger. He said his nose in a book or up someone's butt for all his life. Mm-hmm. I mean, the guy, he's just terrible. The old Hebrew. Oh, they knew that the lab was deficient. Look, Obama outlawed it here, even with our level 4 labs, because it was that dangerous. Okay, you run the risk. But Fauci was on the record going back to when Obama banned it back in 2012, 2010, whatever, saying it's worth it. It's worth the risk because we need to. It's worth the risk. It is. And I found it. It's in publications, periodicals like Cell and other ones. 4, Fauci knew that EcoHealth Alliance was not in compliance with its grant reporting requirements and wasn't adhering to the contract. 5, Fauci knew that the gain-of-function research was in fact being conducted at the Wuhan flu lab in China. Oh, you mean you don't trust the Chinamen, the commie Chinamen? You don't trust them? They're communists. They're great. Klaus Schwab over in the World Economic Forum says that they're great. It's a great model for the rest of society because we have complete control. We control the volume. We control the horizontal. We control the vertical. Okay. We control what you hear and see. Okay. 6. Or did I go through 5 already? 5. Fauci knew the function was being conducted at the Wuhan lab. 6. Fauci knew that the standard P3CO interagency review process wasn't followed in approving the grant to EcoHealth Alliance. So that means it wasn't followed. I wonder if Fauci himself buried it, huh?
Well, probably had one of his cronies do it.
Well, what kills me, Philo, is why he had his fingerprints on this thing, or we did, when the Chinamen have billions and billions of dollars. Just look at all the money they shoveled at Biden. I mean, they gave Biden, oh, he's in trouble now. They gave Biden something like 20, 30 million. They gave him at least 10 million through, unreported donors to his stupid shakedown outfit there at Penn University of Pennsylvania. And now we find out that his kid listed, he was paying $49,000 a month to the big guy in rent every month. He was renting the property in Delaware. And not the beachfront property either, the regular house. Now, why was it $49,000 a month, Philo?
Well, he couldn't afford anymore.
Well, yeah, he needed it for crack and hookers. Well, because something over 50 grand draws the eyeballs for something. But anyways, and it looks like Joe didn't report that on his taxes. Which, speaking of which, he had his taxes up on JoeBiden.com, and then suddenly, right before the Trump raid for these documents, now we're thinking that that maybe Trump got raided, back then, just to set a precedent and get Geezer Joe off the hook. But anyways, suddenly Biden's taxes go blink. They went off his website at the end of July last summer. And then, and you get redirected to a fundraising outfit. Anyways, back to this. 7, last one. Fauci knew that the virus likely came from the lab where our tax dollars were sent, the very city where the lab is, and a deadly virus breaks out that ultimately kills 6 million people around the world. Well, it depends on how you're counting, but it did kill a lot of people.
Yeah.
Importantly, what did Fauci do when he had this information? Not much. Did he tell the chief of staff? Did he tell Trump? It looks like this whole thing was just an effort between this dummy ass. Suddenly too, we'd had no flu deaths. Remember that?
Yeah, no influenza.
No flu deaths. We usually have 50, 100,000 deaths a year to flu. Boom, they're gone. Didn't have any of them. Nope, all COVID.
They just reclassified it. That's all they did.
Yeah.
That's all they had to do was just fudge the numbers, put them somewhere else.
Yeah, and all to get rid of Trump. All to get rid of Trump and try and stuff vaccine passports on us and try and force us to take shots. All this stuff.
And you know who was on board was our governor.
Oh, yeah, of course, he's a rhino. That's why they kicked my ass off there. And I'm going to do an open records request and find out if they were directed or were in any way communicating with the feds about me, my show, or anything else. The questions I was asking. It's just insane. And man, and they scared people enough that they went into court and got these arrangements from state to state. And who did that? Bob Bowers, okay? Bob Bowers and this other puke that works for this law firm. He went from state to state and got mail-in voting so that they could stuff the ballot boxes. Supposedly, that's what the conspiracy theorists are saying. I'm not saying that happened, but some people are saying that just for the censors. I'm not questioning the elections. It was the cleanest, most sparkling elections we've ever had. They were so clean. I'm telling you, they were the cleanest elections ever. Joe Biden is the president.
Well, he is legally, but we don't know about ethically.
Never mind that they stifled the laptop story, Philo.
Of course they did.
Never mind that they sat, just this last November, that they sat on these document story. They found those documents a couple weeks before the election, a week before. But nothing came out about that.
Nope.
Okay. Let's see. Did he tell his chief of staff? Did he tell HHS Secretary Alex Azar? Did he tell Redfield, Birx, Brett Garrar? No. He organized a conference call at February 1st, 2020, with Francis Collins and 11 virologists who had been handing out American tax dollars for years and years and years. Before that call, virologists like Christian Anderson said things that looks like engineered, that's not consistent with evolutionary theory. Yet on the day of the call, the same Anderson said, I don't know how this gets done in nature, but it would be easy to do in a lab. And on this conference call, they get their story straight, and 3 days later, the very people who said this thing came from a lab changed their tune and said that anyone who thinks it came from a lab is crazy. Oh, sure. That's the, it's just the way Washington works.
Or doesn't work.
Yeah.
Doesn't work for you.
And get this, Philo. Here's the thing. I found this notice in 7 Days, Vermont, last week, where they printed, published my Goodbye Leahy letter to the editor, or feedback letter, and they printed mine right next to a guy who was praising Leahy, because I gave Leahy the hot supper, mister. But anyways, here it is. This is on 7 Days, Vermont, on page 78, under legal notices. This is the notice for Vermont to establish a police review board, right, Philo?
Yeah.
And listen to what they want. Let's see. Independent Community Control Board. Under A, diversity. The board shall have a shall. It doesn't say must, okay? Now that's the difference in Vermont law. You have may, shall, and must. Shall just means it should, okay? Must means it must be. It has to, okay? So they even tried to weasel out of it by using this. It shall have a diverse composition, and to the extent possible, have members that represent a diversity of age, race, socioeconomic status, gender, geographic residence, legal immigration status, professional and lived experience. Period. This should, to the extent possible, include members who are black, indigenous, or other people of color, members who have lived experience with houselessness, mental health condition, sex work, domestic violence, substance use disorder, and or arrest conviction records, members who have experience working with an organization that supports black and indigenous and other people of color, and members who are affiliated with an organization in the field of civil rights, mental health, youth advocacy, LGBTQ, RU123, CPO advocacy, and or alcohol and other substance use. Individual members may represent more than one of the categories listed above. So you know what they're looking for, Philo? You could wrap them all. You could wrap up all of those classifications with one person, right?
Yeah.
All you'd need is a houseless, illegal alien, poor, young, crazy, queer, black hooker, gigolo, drunk junkie. That's it. That's what they're looking for, all rolled up into one.
Works for me.
Yeah. This is crazy. And, it gets worse. Black lead, yeah, let's see. The Director of Racial Equity, Inclusion, and Belonging Office, or their designee, and one shitty counselor appointed by the City Council President shall also be on the appointment committee. Oh, and on the board's going to be forever and ever. It's going to have its own office, its own secretary, its own record keeping, and it's going to pay everyone on it and around it a living wage, Philo.
$2.88.
It's crazy.
Right?
Pardon me?
They're going to get $2.88.
Yeah, that's
wage.
A ticket. Oh, yeah. Oh, man. Here we are. Special counsel to investigate Biden documents. No, this guy, this joker is letting his lawyers with no security clearance. He's letting his lawyers go in instead of the FBI to clean up these documents. And it's secured, compartmentalized information docs. It's a felony, okay? And why is he having this lawyer from the White House? She left in the summer, suddenly, again, at the same time they pulled his tax records off the internet, Philo.
Yep.
This lawyer who gets like $1,000 or $2,000 an hour, Philo, right?
Oh, that's pretty good work.
Yeah. Named Dana Remus, suddenly leaves the office of White House counsel. Now, White House counsel doesn't represent the president. The White House counsel represents the office of president, okay? So Dana Remus leaves the office of White House counsel at the same time in the middle of the summer, and then suddenly becomes Joe's private attorney in October, and goes cleaning up his garage and his offices. Now, how many people pay somebody $1,000 or $2,000 an hour to go clean? Do you know any lawyers who would come and clean up your garage, Philo?
No. I can't even afford the one I had back in 2005 that charged me $150 an hour.
Oh, it's crazy, man. And they say, well, Trump did this and Trump did that. Well, Trump has all you got to do, okay, everything's on the internet. I'll be like Joe. Go on the interweb and look up the PRA, the Presidential Records Act, because the president can declassify anything he wants. He doesn't have to say, Mother, may I? He doesn't have to notify anyone. You know, he can tell the archives. He was in negotiation with the archives. They came down, they sent FBI agents to Mar-a-Lago. They said, well, you know, is there anything out of place? No, it looks fine. We just want to ask you, could you put a padlock on that door a little more, just lock it a little better? And he said, sure. They put the padlock on there, and then we were still in negotiations about the documents, and bang! In they come with the SWAT teams, the M16s, the helicopters, the news, eyewitness news, everybody's down at Mar-a-Lago. And yet Biden, he said, well, he's just a nice old guy and he's president now. Well, he wasn't president then, okay? What did Obama okay these documents leaving the place? Now we're talking, they've been there for 6 friggin' years. I won't go into it. It's all over the conservative news. Oh, yeah. Consumer inflation eases again to 6.5%. According to the Heritage Foundation, Philo, we've lost purchasing power, $7,500 a year, okay? A year. And when we got $5,000 back, when Trump was president, when we made $5,000 and wages were going up and inflation was down, Nancy Pelosi came out and said, oh, those are just crumbs. They're just crumbs. So now we've lost $14,000 in 2 years in purchasing power. Where's Pelosi now, Philo?
She's not the Speaker of the House anymore.
Yeah.
Is she?
Oh, thank God.
I don't think God had anything to do with it.
Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg. Flights normal after FAA systems crash. Now get this. You know what my thing is, Philo, with this FAA outage?
What was that?
My conspiracy theory is this, okay? Now, let's see. Most people don't know this, Tucker mentioned this, the Filipino flight agency or whatever, safety agency, their whole system went down on New Year's Eve, Philo.
Yeah.
And then, what was it, 10 days later, bang, ours goes down. Nationwide, coast to coast. And then, bang, day after that, Canada's goes down, right? Now, what do they call those notifications, Philo?
I don't know.
They're called NOTAMs, N-O-T-A-M. And you know what that stands for? Notice to Airmen. And what is Pete Buttigieg doing right now as we speak to every department of every agency?
I would hate to think.
We're getting rid of any gender. So I'm thinking that old Pete Buttigieg, that they dropped their panties, okay? To do the software change, because he'd come out after they got it up and running. He'd come out, say, a week later and say, we've changed notice to airmen to notice to air people, or notice to air humans, because notice to airmen is sexist and it goes back to the 1930s. And what they did was they dropped their drawers to do the software change, and then suddenly, while the gates are down, some hackers came in and said, okay, you better give us like 10 million in Bitcoin if you want your planes up and flying. And it worked so good that they did it to Canada the next day. And suddenly, after this happened, Philo, after the Philippine thing happened, the stock price, or the price of Bitcoin, value of Bitcoin went up like 20-30%, Philo.
Wow.
Yeah. It was a ransomware, wasn't it? It could have been a ransomware. It could be a hack. And if it was, would they tell us? Would they tell us they screwed up?
Heavens no.
I don't think so, man. Shutdown likely as U.S. debt limit looms. No. You know what? Screw them. You know, there's 2 words that we can say about the debt limit. Balanced budget, okay? Show us the receipts. Show us your plan. Show us the cash flow, okay? Because we're done. We're all done paying the FBI to spy on Americans. The FBI paid $540 million last year on paid informants, okay? Now, I'm sure maybe they need a few paid informants for, investigations of Chinese spying or this or that, right?
Yeah.
Which Joe canceled, by the way, as soon as he came in. He canceled that Trump executive order because Joe and Hunter aren't bought by China. Oh, no. Hell no.
I thought they were bought by Ukraine.
Yeah, them too. They're bought by every shady outfit they could shake down. Are you kidding me? Why do you think they're hiding these damn documents? Anyways, the debt limit. You show us the cash flow, okay? And just like our household budget, we got a balance checking accounts. We look at what's coming in, we look at what's going out, we get the priorities together, and we're going to say, no, FBI, no way. We're not giving $500 million to friggin' snitches, all right, to paid informants. It was $96 million a year back all of government back in the 90s when I was on jury duty. It's like, no, 500, almost $500 million for paid snitches? No, okay? And then the Ukraine, not a penny more. Let the Europeans pitch in. I got an article about that one too. Let the Europeans pitch in. Let them do it.
Well, didn't the Polish actually do something?
Well, they're talking about it. Let me get to that one.
I thought the Polish actually sent off some arms or something early on in the war.
Yeah, well,
they're not very happy with Ivan anyway,
Yeah, they're talking about it. Yeah, here we are. UK pledges to supply tanks to Ukraine. Well, the Europeans have been pledging this stuff for over a year now. Well, it'll be a year next month. They're pledging, they're doing this, they're doing that. Listen to this crap. There's so many disclaimers in here, you could drive a truck through it. More Russian missiles hit Kyiv, because we're going to rename everything. We can't call it Kiev anymore because, it's only been that city's name for 1,500 years, but it's a Russian name, so we're going to change it. Yeah, let's just stick it. Anyways, UK Prime Minister promised to provide tanks and artillery systems. He made the pledge to provide 2 tanks and other Challenger 2 tanks and other artillery after speaking to Zelensky at 10 Downing Street. Now listen to this. I didn't say when they'd be delivered or how many. It didn't say when. British media have reported that 4 Challenger battle tanks will be sent immediately, with 8 more to follow. 12 tanks, Philo. Well, yippee-ki-yay, friggin' yay. That ought to turn the tide of battle, right?
Well, I suppose so.
12 tanks, man. Thank you, Britain.
These guys must know what they're doing over there. I mean, look at what Tony Blair did with George Bush and Cheney.
Oh, God.
He swallowed that one hook, line, and sinker, didn't he?
Yeah. I mean, how many trillions were there? 4 trillion, 8 trillion that those stupid forever wars cost us? Mm-hmm. And Biden say, if you're going to attack the United States, you better get an F-15, mister. You ain't going to do it with an AR-15. Well, tell that to the Taliban, bunkie. Because the Taliban kicked, just like the Vietnamese, they kicked our asses with some AK-47s and a dogged determination. That's all. And we could do the same thing. It's just incredible. You need an F-15. And he's mentioning this on Martin Luther King Day. He's going after Republicans and conservatives. It's like, I thought MLK Day was a day of peace. Maybe read some of his speeches. Or, no. You don't want to read his speeches because that'll shoot holes in your little diversity deal. Because King thought that everybody should be treated equally, which is the opposite of your whole diversity and inclusion crap. Anyways, Zelensky tweeted his thanks. Okay, now get this. Ukraine has for months sought heavier tanks, like the Abrams and German Leopard tanks, but Western leaders have been treading carefully. The Czech Republic and Poland have provided Soviet-era T-72 tanks. Poland has also expressed readiness to provide a company of Leopard tanks, but the president of Poland stressed during his recent visit that the move would be possible only as an element of a larger international coalition of tank aid. So they're still holding back. He expressed readiness, Philo. Oh, that's as good as a nod is as good as a wink to a blind horse, right?
Probably.
Expressed readiness. Come on, man. He's jerking your gherkin. Give me a break. Earlier this month, France said it would send AMX-RC armored combat vehicles, designated light tanks. The U.S. and Germany said they'd send Bradleys. Oh, man. There's a good Kelsey Grammer movie about how they developed a Bradley fighting vehicle. You should see that one. You talk about military intelligence. You can see it. Go on Netflix or whatever. You can get it. You can still get it. It's crazy good. But anyways, let's see. 2 Russian missiles hit an infrastructure object. Another infrastructure facility. Oh, so we got objects, facilities, and infrastructure targets. Yet they won't mention what they are, Philo. I wonder if we're being led down the garden path here. Where's all the video? Every swinging Dick and Jane's got a friggin' cell phone camera, man. How come we're not getting any video of the Russians having their asses kicked? Maybe they're not winning? You know? Maybe it's devolved into a stalemate, World War I type trench era disaster where the only people dying are Ukrainian civilians? Oh, yeah, but all that money is going, it sure is, it's going somewhere. If there's an article in the Gateway Pundit about some kid was crunched the numbers and said these weapons, he was over there, and he had to come back to write the article or else he would have got shot. He says all the weapons are being stolen by these these arm dealing cartels and being sold on the black market. Go to Gateway Pundit, look it up. Let's see. Vitaly Kim, governor, hinted in a telegram post that some missiles have been intercepted. Let's see. But, they expressed readiness to send tanks, but only if the other people send tanks. So there you go. So that's what they're telling us, Philo. And we're supposed to believe it. And look at this guy. And not only is he a friggin' hot mess mentally, but physically, he looks like the damn crypt keeper. I got to get a picture off the interweb of the crypt keeper with a stringy, greasy hair sticking out over his collar. It's just disgusting, man. Get in the shower, you old fool. Anyways, how about some news you want to see what got Martin Luther King killed? And he wasn't, like they said, he wasn't real popular when he was alive, because although he preached nonviolence everywhere he went, it seems like the cities, excuse me, I'm starting to sound like Fauci, everywhere he went, the cities would burn afterwards. But if you want to watch the speech that got him killed, and you can see it on YouTube and stuff, it's the Beyond Vietnam speech. Okay, that's where he went after the military. That's where he went after President Johnson and Vietnam and all the spending for war. That got him killed. Because it was almost exactly a year later that he got whacked. And if you think one stupid old cracker with a 30-06 took him out, then you're crazy too.
And that 30-06 from the Carcone, was it?
I don't know.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, I'm thinking of
JFK.
Yeah, I'm thinking of JFK. Yeah, who was it? Was it James Earl Ray or Sirhan Sirhan?
Oh, that's what they said. James Earl Ray. So Sirhan supposedly took out Bobby Kennedy. He managed to get off 11 shots from an Ivor Johnson 9-shot 22 revolver. That's pretty damn good, Philo.
Hey, I got to see this.
Yeah, that's why they took out everything that had a bullet hole. They took out of the kitchen in the Ambassador Hotel in L.A. Look that one up. And anyways, they had a trial, and Lee Camp. If you go to Lee Camp's website, He did a documentary on the King family because they sued to get the records that proved James Earl Ray didn't shoot MLK alone. And, where would this cracker who escaped from jail, where the hell would this cracker get a hold of 2 passports and all the cash he needed to fly to friggin' Europe, Philo?
Yeah.
Funny how that works. Oh, and we got more deaths. Young women dying. Here's this the supermodel Tatiana Petitz, an elite model. She's dead at 56. Okay, Elvis Presley's daughter dead at 54. Diamond from Diamond of Silk dead at 51. Hey, but you know what? It's not what you think it is. Don't even go there, you little conspiracy theorists. Just keep saying safe and effective, safe and effective. Anyways, how about some news that never gets to the news, okay? Oh, speaking of which, if you want to see how much money George Soros pays our news readers, these so-called journalists, the ones who are saying, who are over at with Klaus Schwab complaining about misinformation, go to the Media Research Council. He's got a list of all the money that Soros provides to our mainstream media. Anyways, yeah, 1/3 of the Ku Klux Klan were paid informants, but not on January 6th. Oh, no, mister. Yeah, this guy Bowers, he's the head spider. He supervises Mark Elias in that law firm, that big law firm. What is it, Perkins Coie in Washington? They were the first ever law firm to have offices in the FBI headquarters before getting rid of Trump in that election. Nothing to see there, right, Philo?
No.
Oh, our FBI, they always have private law firm offices in their building. Yeah. Okay, nothing to see there. And then we got that dummy spokesperson there for KJP, for the White House. She supposedly went to Brown or some elite university, Philo.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, well, she keeps screwing up words. She kept calling the dead Pope, the Pope Emeritus.
What?
Instead of emeritus, she called him the Pope Emeritus.
I think that's a disease now.
Yeah, I think so.
That'll be the next one that comes out. It's going to kill us.
I had an aunt had emeritus once, and it wasn't pretty, man. And instead of bicameral, she calls it bicaramel. It's like two caramels in one.
Like a Twix bar.
Yeah. It's not bicameral. It's bicaramel.
The humanity.
Huh?
The humanity.
Oh, the humanity. And then she kept calling the Nobel Prize the Nobel Prize over and over again. Yeah, the Nobel Prize, the Nobel Prize. It's like, hey, stupid.
Who was this woman?
The buckwheat there, the Farina, the girl who she's the press secretary for the White House.
Oh, her. Okay,
yeah.
I know who you mean now.
Karine Jean-Pierre, the first carpet cleaner, a carpet muncher, or some damn thing. A black woman, lesbian, whatever. It's crazy, man. And she kept calling it, instead of the Korean armistice, Philo, she kept calling it the Korean armtice. It's like an armband, only it's an armtice.
She could have worked where I did, where all these guys used to butcher the English language.
Yeah, she could have written for All in the Family for Archie Bunker.
So could my dad.
Yeah. And then last but not least, she kept calling the Nord Stream pipeline the Nordstrom pipeline. Yeah, it goes right from the mall to your house, Philo.
I've seen that.
The Nordstrom pipeline. Okay. Yeah, in the past 2 years, we've seen a 40% rise in all-cause deaths from ages 18 to 49, but it's not what you think of.
No.
Where a 10% rise would be catastrophic for life insurance companies. And then, when it started showing up on the defense medical, the DMED system, the 300% increase in miscarriages, cancers, and neuro issues and stuff, 1,000%. up to 1,000% on the military website, Philo.
Yep.
The Pentagon took the website down.
Goodness gracious. What are we going to do?
Yeah, it's okay. No information's good information, right? Right.
I think so.
You can see that on the movie documentary Died Suddenly. Yeah, and little Bill Gates from Microsoft gave CNN $3.6 million for vaccine reporting. But speaking of which, Microsoft's are going to lay off 10,000 people, Philo.
Yeah, I think Amazon is too, aren't they?
Yeah, Amazon and everybody, Goldman Sachs. And we told you they would do this. We told you Biden didn't know his ass from his elbow. He'd never run a business, never did dick. He doesn't know squat about the Harpin monetary theory, MMT. They came in, printed up a bunch of dough, ruined the economy, shut down drilling, and now we're going to have to pay the piper because there were 2 quarters where there was no rise in the GDP, negative GDP last summer. And the news outfits, when they covered for them, they said, it doesn't mean it's in a recession, even though one quarter, it was always 1 quarter of negative GDP growth was a recession, period, stop, end of story. But no, it's okay. Our Federal Reserve is bankrupt. They supposedly pay us remittances to pay the government back for the cost of having a cartel monopoly on our monopoly money. But they haven't been paying the remittances. They pay themselves back through an accounting trick. Until you understand the Federal Reserve, until you understand money, where it comes from, where it goes to, now think about this. Abraham Lincoln, instead of borrowing money from the banksters for the Civil War, he printed up greenbacks where they would flood them into circulation and then they would gradually be bought back by the government after the war. And Lincoln even said, he says, I got the rebels in front of me and the bankers behind me, and it's the bankers I fear the most. Bang, he gets assassinated. Then we get JFK, comes along 100 years later, says, you know what, I think we should go back to U.S. Treasury notes. Silver certificates. We don't need the Federal Reserve. We can go back and have our own money. We don't need to owe them. We don't have to pay them. And then, bang, he gets picked off.
Okay, last but not least, Steve.
Oh, last but not least. Oh, my God.
You're running short on time.
All right. Well, last but not least, okay. South Korea seeking arms sales with the United Arab Emirates, Philo.
Yep.
This was in, what the hell is it? This was in Monday's paper. The importance of the trip for Seoul, South Korea could be seen in their business leaders attending a camel meat luncheon at the palace. A camel meat luncheon. Save that camel toe for me.
Yes. I fully agree. It will give you a bite, though.
It's the best part. I'm telling you. It's like the Pope's nose on the turkey. The part that goes over the fence last. Once again, you waste a perfect crowd of your life watching this stupid show, so hopefully we'll see you again next week, inshallah, good Lord willing, and the creek don't rise, because, you never know. A little flu could take you out. So until then, get down on your hands and knees in the men-only mosque, sniff the bum of the guy in the man dress in front of you, head east towards the meteorite Mecca, and pray, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Snakbar, Allahu Open Bar, Akbar. Wow.
And, of course, a happy Deus Magnus Est to
that goes
everybody.
by quick.
Quote, national security grounds. National security.
Finally, we're going to see the full video.
15-minute period on January 6th from 2:25 p.m. to 2:40 p.m. Eastern Time. Now, that's right in the middle of the so-called insurrection. For context, 2:26 p.m. is around when Mike Pence, then the vice president, was evacuated from the Capitol. These are images from a surveillance camera at the Senate wing of the complex, and they show people calmly walking around taking pictures. Not much of a riot. Now, that's relevant because the DOJ is charging some of the people who entered the Capitol around this time, probably including some of the people in those frames, with endangering the safety of Mike Pence. They're saying the Capitol itself was a restricted area because Mike Pence was present. But it does not appear from that footage that it's true. Where exactly was Mike Pence
14,000
at
hours
the time?
now to come out.
People
finally,
are doing jail time
the
as a result
DOJ
of
has
assumptions
kept it
about
under
that
wraps.
question. But the rest of
But
us
we got
can
a new
verify it
Congress
because the surveillance
who's
footage is
going to
still
release it
classified for national
because it
security
belongs
reasons.
to us.
We should see it.
You know, having had a house burned down with my wife in it, she got out safely, God willing.
It was, I remember spending time at, going to the Tree of Life Synagogue, speaking with them. I have known every prime minister well since Golda Meir. She invited me to come over because I was going to be the liaison between she and the Egyptians about Suez and so on and so forth. I did not walk in the shoes of generations of students who walk these grounds, but I walked other grounds. Seems like yesterday, the first time I got arrested anyway. He said, you know, Joe, if you accepted my commission to become my appointment in the academy, he said you'd still have 1 year and 3 months active duty and I'd have no problems right now.
What?
This day, 30 years ago, Nelson Mandela walked out of prison. I had the great honor of being arrested with our UN ambassador on the streets of Soweto trying to get to see him on Robbins Island.
What?
Getting medals on, silver stars on soldiers up in the upper Konar Valley in the middle of a firestorm.
What?
I used to drive a tractor trailer.
You did?
And so I know a little bit about driving big trucks.
What is that crime if you don't know that you're committing a crime? And I don't even know what... I know there's a box in my garage, but I keep my garage locked. And I wouldn't even know how to... There's a button. You push a button, but the button's in the car, and the car's in the garage. So how's anyone going to get in there? Come on, man. Now, it's Martin Luther King Day, so could you please let me get back to calling everyone who doesn't agree with me a racist? Thank you.
These tough guys with their guns. We didn't have those growing up on the mean streets of Wilmington, Delaware, with guys like Corn Pop. We had to use our bare hands. That's right. In fact, I ran into some bad dudes the other day. I remember how that went. I remember. Yeah.
You looking at, old man?
Stay out of my garage.
You better get your ass on while I still let you.
There's nothing in there. Except my Corvette and some boxes.
Me crazy, man. Get out of here, man. Why don't you get your ass up out of here before I kick your old wrinkly white ass?
I'm gonna point at you. And you. I'll point at all of you. You have a nice day.
You too. Nicely done.
I tell you why. It's all too beautiful. It's all too beautiful. It's all too beautiful. It's all too beautiful.
I feel inclined to blow my mind, get hung up, feed the ducks with a bum. They all come out to groove about, nice and have fun in the sun.
It's all too beautiful. It's all too beautiful. It's all too beautiful.